Cadet Tess Morgan stood at rigid attention as the shuttle bay doors hissed open, revealing the cavernous docking area of Galactic Fleet Academy station. The artificial gravity felt slightly off, calibrated for the average physiology of 27 species, none of which were human. "Welcome to GFA-7, Cadet Morgan," droned a bored-looking blue-skinned officer with 3 eyes. "I am Lieutenant Jiktal, your orientation guide. Try not to touch anything. Human oils are considered toxic to 17% of our cadets." "Understood, Lieutenant," Tess replied, gripping her duffel bag tighter. "I've studied all the cross-species contamination protocols." "Impressive," Jiktal said, not sounding impressed at all. "You're the first human accepted in 8 cycles," Admiral Krastul insisted, despite unanimous faculty opposition. Tess swallowed hard. Nothing in her briefings had mentioned unanimous opposition. "I understand the honor of being selected, sir." Honor? Jiktal's third eye blinked independently. "Let's be clear, human. Your presence here is a political experiment, nothing more. The Galactic Council believes that incorporating primitive species encourages diversity." Admiral Krastul simply drew the short photon. As they walked through the station's main corridor, dozens of alien cadets stopped to stare. Some whispered, others made gestures that universal translators wisely left uninterpreted. "The average cadet here has evolved from civilizations with interstellar travel for at least 2 millennia, Jiktal continued. "Your species achieved faster than light travel, 60 years ago? After nearly destroying your own planet multiple times." 73 years, Tess corrected. "And we've been valuable members of the trade coalition since." Yes, you make excellent pets and entertainment," a deep voice interrupted. Tess turned to face Admiral Krastul himself, 7 feet of leathery gray skin and ceremonial armor. His species, the Dravik, were known for their strategic brilliance and very, very long memories. Admiral Jiktal saluted sharply. "I was just acquainting Cadet Morgan with your personal biases, Lieutenant. Save it for your xenosocia." The Admiral's 4 nostrils flared. Cadet Morgan's academic scores were exemplary. Her physical adaptability tests broke 3 Academy records. "For humans," Jiktal muttered. "For any bipedal species," Krastul corrected. "Which is why I've made special arrangements for her housing." He handed Tess a holographic key card. "You'll be in Quadrant 9, Habitat Unit 47. Jiktal's eyes widened. "But sir, that's in the abandoned maintenance section. It's at least 3 kilometers from the nearest training facility." "Precisely," Krastul nodded. "For her protection. Humans are remarkably fragile, and some of our cadets come from predatory species. We wouldn't want any accidents." Tess felt her heart sink as she accepted the key card. "Thank you, Admiral." As Krastul walked away, Tess caught his reflection in a polished wall panel. The Admiral wasn't concerned for her safety, he was smiling, the kind of smile that had probably preceded countless tactical destructions. Tess realized with perfect clarity, her isolation wasn't protection. It was the first test, and they expected her to fail. Tess's first class, Advanced Quantum Navigation, was scheduled to begin at what her translator approximated as dawn's third echo. After 3 hours of wandering through identical corridors, she finally found Lecture Hall 12B, arriving 15 minutes late. Cadet Morgan, Professor Ulm-Durek, a gaseous entity contained in a hovering metallic suit, emanated waves of displeasure. "How fortunate you've chosen to join us. Please take a seat." Tess scanned the hall. Every seat had a cadet's bag, jacket, or tentacle draped over it. Every single one. "I'm sorry, Professor, there don't appear to be any available seats." "How unfortunate," Ulm-Durek sighed, releasing a puff of orange vapor. "Academy regulations forbid standing during lectures, safety protocols, you understand. Perhaps you can attend via holostream from your quarters next time." From the back of the room, a tall, iridescent officer observed with thinly veiled satisfaction. "Commander Vex Nor, Deputy Academy Director." Tess had memorized all senior staff files before arrival. "Yes, Professor." Tess managed, backing out of the room, as snickers echoed behind her. The pattern repeated throughout the week. Training simulations mysteriously reset when it was her turn. Mess hall tables filled completely the moment she entered. Library terminal access codes worked for everyone except her. On the 5th night, as Tess trudged back to her isolated quarters, a small greenish blob dropped from a ventilation shaft, landing with a splat before resolving into a vaguely humanoid shape. Human Cadet Morgan, the creature bubbled enthusiastically. Designation Glipsor, Maintenance Support Auxiliary. Your quarters neighbor. Tess jumped back. You live in Quadrant 9-2. Affirmative. Meltlings not welcome in regular quarters. Too drippy. Glipsor demonstrated by temporarily liquefying one appendage. We outcasts stick together, yes. For the first time in days, Tess smiled. Yes, I'd like that. Glipsor proved an invaluable ally. Being able to squeeze through ventilation systems gave them access to information no one expected them to have. One night, they slithered into Tess's quarters, reforming with unusual agitation. Found it. Document in Commander Vex Nor's private files. Human integration failure projection. Lists all your so-called deficiencies. Tess scrolled through the document, her jaw tightening. Humans. Strategic weaknesses. Require 6-8 hours unconsciousness. Daily. Cannot regenerate. Limbs. Susceptible to psychological isolation. Limited sensory capacity. Only 5 senses. Cannot photosynthesize or consume raw minerals. Emotional responses override logical processing. At the bottom. FID. Projected Academy survival 14 days. Recommended action. Passive discouragement protocol. They're actively trying to make me quit. Tess murmured. Worse. Glipsor bubbled. Check academic database. Your performance ratings. Tess pulled up her records. Every evaluation showed failing grades. Every instructor comment negative, including for simulations she'd never been allowed to attempt. This is impossible, she whispered. They're falsifying my records. Glipsor extended a sympathetic pseudopod. Academy survival projection looking accurate. Yes. Tess closed the files, her expression hardening. No, it's looking wildly inaccurate. They think I'll break in 14 days. I'm going to break their prediction algorithms instead. The next morning, as Tess headed to the training deck, Commander Vex Nor stepped directly into her path. Cadet Morgan, his translucent skin pulsed with blue light patterns, the equivalent of a condescending smile. I've been reviewing your performance metrics. Disappointing, but not unexpected. Perhaps human potential was overestimated. With respect, Commander, Tess replied evenly. I haven't been permitted to demonstrate my potential. Excuses are uniquely human, aren't they? Vex Nor's skin flashed. The crisis response simulation begins tomorrow. All 4th quadrant cadets are required to participate. He paused. Except you, of course. Your quarters will be locked for the duration. Safety protocols. As Vex Nor glided away, Tess felt something snap inside her. Not her spirit, her patience. They locked you out of the biggest training exercise of the year. Glipsor oozed indignantly around Tess's quarters. That's not just mean, it's illegal under Academy Charter, Section 12 Gamma. Tess paced, mind racing. The crisis response simulation is mandatory for all first-year cadets. Without it, I automatically fail the semester. What you going to do? What any resourceful human would do. Tess grinned. Cheat. While the entire academy gathered in the central simulation chamber, Tess and Glipsor implemented their plan. Glipsor slipped through the environmental systems, planting tiny transmitters Tess had assembled from spare parts. Within an hour, Tess had a live feed of the simulation in her quarters. On screen, Admiral Krasthol addressed the assembled cadets. This simulation replicates an actual crisis from the Orion conflict. Your objective: evacuate civilians from an unstable space station while defending against hostile forces. Commander Vex Nor will evaluate your performance. The simulation began, and Tess watched in horror as everything immediately went wrong. Cadets assigned to different species-based squadrons refused to coordinate. Communication channels became chaotic. When simulated hostiles appeared, 3 squadrons tried incompatible defense protocols simultaneously. "They're failing spectacularly," Tess muttered. "Look at Commander Vex Nor," Glipsor pointed. The commander stood at the control station, making no attempt to guide the cadets. In fact, he appeared to be increasing the simulation difficulty. "He's sabotaging them," Tess realized. "He wants them to fail." On screen, warning klaxons blared as the simulated station's reactor began overheating. Casualty projections scrolled across the bottom, 87% civilian loss projected. "This is wrong." Tess stood up. "I need to get in there." "But quarters locked." "Biometric security." "For the doors, yes." Tess pulled up the station schematics Glipsor had obtained. "But not for the maintenance tunnels. Can you get me to access point J12? 10 minutes later, Tess crawled through dust-filled tunnels, following Glipsor's amorphous form. They emerged in a service closet, just outside the simulation chamber. "Wait here," Tess whispered. "If I'm not back in an hour, find Admiral Krastl." Tess slipped into the observation deck, overlooking the simulation. Below, chaos reigned. The cadet acting as squadron leader, a towering insectoid named Zorptik, was shouting contradictory orders as simulated explosions rocked the chamber. Tess patched into the communication system, preparing to offer assistance, despite the certain punishment that would follow. Before she could speak, a different alarm sounded, one not part of the simulation. A massive holographic display activated across all Academy screens. E-alert. Station defense protocols activated. This is not a simulation. Hostile vessels detected. All cadets return to quarters. The simulation froze as real fear spread through the chamber. Commander Vex Nor's voice cut through the confusion. "Remain calm. This is likely a system malfunction. Continue with." The entire station shuddered as something impacted the outer hull. The lights flickered, and for a moment, Tess saw what the others didn't: genuine terror on Commander Vex Nor's face. This was no malfunction. The second impact hit with enough force to knock cadets off their feet. Emergency lighting bathed the chamber in red, as the simulation interfaces dissolved, replaced by actual station schematics, showing multiple hull breaches. "Attention Academy personnel." Admiral Krastl's voice boomed over the comms. "We are under attack by unidentified vessels. This is not part of any exercise. All cadets proceed to emergency shelters. All officers report to battle stations." Commander Vex Nor scrambled to the command console. "All squadrons, implement defense protocol Zeta-9. Blank stares met his order. Zeta-9 was a theoretical protocol they'd never actually practiced. "I said implement Zeta-9. Vex Nor shouted, his skin flashing alarming patterns. "Form perimeter defenses around critical systems." Tess watched the command screens from her observation point. The attackers were executing a standard pincer movement, but with an unusual twist. They were targeting communication arrays first, then propulsion systems, not random pirates. This was coordinated. Below, pandemonium erupted as squadron leaders shouted contradictory orders. Zorptik, the insectoid cadet, who'd been leading the simulation, froze in place, mandibles clicking rapidly, his species' panic response. Tess made her decision. She sprinted from the observation deck to the main floor. "What are you doing here, human?" Vex Nor hissed when he spotted her. "You're restricted from." "With respect, Commander." "Shut up," Tess said, pushing past him to the main console. She accessed the tactical display and opened a station-wide channel. "This is Cadet Morgan. I'm implementing Emergency Response Protocol Tau-7. There was no such protocol. But the authority in her voice made cadets pause and listen. "Gastropod cadets to medical. Your slime trails harden under plasma fire. perfect for sealing hull breaches. Photosynthetic species to life support. If systems fail, you can generate oxygen. Crystalline cadets to shield vulnerable areas. Your bodies can deflect certain energy weapons. She continued assigning roles based on biological advantages, ignoring Vexnor's sputtering protests. To her surprise, the cadets obeyed, finding purpose in the chaos. What about us? Zorptik had recovered enough to approach, mandibles now steady. Your exoskeleton can withstand vacuum. I need a team to repair the external comm array, so we can call for help. But I'm not qualified for. None of us are qualified for this. Tess replied. But your species evolved in high radiation environments. You'll last longer outside than anyone else. As Zorptik gathered his team, Commander Vexnor attempted to reassert control. This is absurd. Human, you have no authority. Actually, came Admiral Krasthol's voice as he limped into the chamber, bleeding from a head wound. I'm temporarily granting Cadet Morgan emergency command authority. Admiral, Vexnor's skin turned pale. You can't be serious. She's the only one making sense. Krasthol snapped. The bridge was hit first. Most senior officers are dead, or incapacitated. And unlike you, Commander, she's actually improvising solutions, instead of following protocols that don't apply to this situation. Tess felt all eyes turn to her. We need to coordinate defense and find out who's attacking us. Glipsor. The green blob materialized from a nearby vent. Human friend called. I need you to infiltrate the attacking ship if possible. Your species can survive vacuum briefly, right? 3 minutes 42 seconds precisely. Perfect. See if you can identify the attackers. As Glipsor oozed toward an access port, the station rocked with another impact. Status displays showed intruder alerts. Boarding parties had breached the lower decks. They're inside, Tess announced. Everyone arm yourselves. When the first wave of attackers reached the simulation chamber, mercenaries in mismatched armor, they found not panic cadets but an organized defense force, using the chamber's reconfigurable environment to create choke points and ambush zones. They're expecting terrified students, Tess had explained during their hasty preparation. Not soldiers. Humans have a saying, the best defense is a good offense. What's an offense? Zorptik had asked. Tess smiled grimly. Let me show you. 3 hours into the attack, the tide began to turn. Glipsor had returned with critical intelligence. The attackers were the notorious Scarlet Syndicate, interstellar pirates, known for targeting vulnerable facilities and selling captives to the highest bidder. They expected minimal resistance. Tess explained to her improvised war council. They hit during our simulation because station scans showed all cadets gathered in one place. What they didn't expect, Admiral Krasthol added, was a human. Zorptik chittered in agreement. The human concept of offenses is most effective. We've reclaimed 2 decks already. The situation wasn't all positive. The pirates had taken hostages, including Commander Vexnor, who'd attempted to surrender himself in exchange for safe passage off the station. Typical Luminari cowardice, muttered a rock-skinned cadet. Not cowardice, Tess corrected. Logical self-preservation. His species evolved from prey animals, but now he's our problem again. The chamber doors hissed open, and a pirate transmission projected onto the main screen. A scarred Denebian captain appeared, with Commander Vexnor kneeling before him, skin pulsing with terror. Academy forces, the pirate growled. This ends now. We control your life support systems. Surrender all cadets for processing, or we vent your atmosphere in 10 minutes. Tess stepped forward. Can you hold one moment, please? We're discussing your generous offer. The pirate blinked, clearly expecting immediate capitulation. 5 minutes then. When the transmission paused, Tess turned to her team. They're bluffing. Glipsor confirmed they don't have life support access, but they are in the cargo bay, where they can cause serious damage. How do we proceed? Admiral Krasthol asked, surprising everyone by deferring to Tess. Earth history time. Tess grinned. Ever heard of the Trojan horse?
20 minutes later, the pirates in the cargo bay stared in confusion as a large container was wheeled in by a trembling, gelatinous cadet. "Well, what is this?" demanded the Denebian captain. "Surrender gift," bubbled Glipsor. "Rare minerals. Please don't hurt us." As the pirates cautiously approached the container, it exploded open, revealing not minerals, but 20 cadets of various species, each utilizing their unique biological advantages. Crystalline cadets deflected weapon fire. Multi-limbed species disarmed multiple pirates simultaneously. Bioluminescent cadets created blinding flashes. In the center of the chaos, Tess fought her way to Commander Vexnor, cutting his restraints. "Cadet Morgan," he stammered. "Miscalculated. Save it," Tess said, tossing him a weapon. "Either help or stay down." The battle was brief but decisive. When Admiral Cresthull arrived with reinforcements, they found the pirates subdued and the hostages free. "What did you call this strategy again?" Zorptik asked, cleaning pirate residue from his mandibles. "The Trojan horse," Tess replied. "Ancient Earth military tactic. When you can't beat an enemy head-on, trick them into bringing your forces inside their defenses. Deception in warfare," Admiral Cresthull mused. "Most human. Oh, we have better ones." Tess smiled. "Wait until I tell you about the time a human general defeated an entire army using only wooden ducks." The pirates, thoroughly confused by this exchange, seemed to lose their remaining will to fight. 3 weeks after the attack, the Academy Board convened an emergency session. Tess stood at attention, facing the 12 senior officers who would decide her fate. "Cadet Morgan," began the chief administrator, an ancient Valerian, with translucent skin, "your actions during the Scarlet Syndicate attack were unprecedented." "Unauthorized," added another board member. "Effective," countered Admiral Cresthull. "The casualty rate was 87% lower than our best-case projections." "Nevertheless," the chief administrator continued, "you violated numerous Academy protocols. You accessed restricted areas, commandeered command functions, and implemented non-standard tactical responses." Tess remained silent, back straight, eyes forward. "Furthermore," the administrator's voice softened slightly, "it has come to our attention that you were subjected to an unsanctioned isolation protocol prior to the attack. Commander Vexnor has admitted to orchestrating this." "Discrimination." Tess's eyes flickered briefly toward Vexnor, who stood to the side, his skin a dull, repentant blue. "The Academy Board has reached a decision regarding both matters," the administrator announced. "Commander Vexnor is hereby demoted and reassigned to Outpost Delta 9 for rehabilitation." A pleased murmur rippled through the gallery, where dozens of cadets had gathered to witness the proceedings. As for Cadet Morgan, the administrator continued, "in recognition of exceptional leadership under extreme duress, you are appointed squadron leader, effective immediately. You will be the first human to hold this rank in Academy history." The chamber erupted in cheers, led by Glipsor, who briefly lost structural integrity from excitement and had to be mopped up by maintenance droids. Admiral Cresthull approached as the ceremony concluded. "I owe you an apology, Squadron Leader Morgan. The isolation was my idea, though not as Vexnor implemented it. I needed to know if humans could adapt without support. You were testing me," Tess realized. "The galaxy is rarely kind to newcomers," Cresthull said solemnly. "I needed to know if your species could survive its cruelty." Tess smiled. "And what did you learn, Admiral?" "That we significantly underestimated you," he admitted. "The Academy has received 17 new applications from Earth since news of your promotion spread. The Galactic Council is reconsidering humanity's classification as a developing species, and 3 separate fleet commanders have requested human tactical advisors. Just because we're good in a crisis, because you're good at something we've forgotten, thinking without protocols," Cresthull said. "Your species calls it winging it, I believe." As Tess prepared to leave, Zorptik approached with a group of cadets. "Squadron Leader Morgan, we've been discussing your wooden duck strategy. Is it possible to include this in our tactical training? Absolutely, Tess grinned. But first we need to talk about something called practical jokes. I think the Academy could use a few more of those. 3 months later, as the first transport of new human cadets docked at GFA-7, they were greeted by an unusual sight. Admiral Crasthull wearing a t-shirt over his ceremonial armor that read, "I survived a human's first semester." Behind him stood Squadron Leader Morgan, with her mixed-species team, including a certain gelatinous maintenance worker now sporting a miniature officer's cap. "Welcome to the Academy," Tess called out. "Fair warning, we do things a little differently here." And throughout the vast structure of Galactic Fleet Academy Station, in ventilation shafts and maintenance tunnels, on official documents and training simulations, a new unofficial motto had begun to appear. To humanity, not just surviving the galaxy, reorganizing it.